Greetings and welcome to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. And Sir Daniel, we are about to take a little detour outside of what we normally do, but it is squarely within what we normally do. This is about to be fun.
It's a fun detour. It's a funny detour because I have long said, we've talked about this particular show as being so culturally relevant to Black culture and to music, just as Soul Train, just as much as Soul Train, Young TV Raps. It is just as important, and this also signifies this family dynasty of comedy, which includes, and I've always said this, you can quote me on this, the funniest Wayans ever, in my opinion. You can argue with your mom and your dad, is Kim Wayans. Hands down, Kim Wayans is the funniest Wayans of the whole family, and she has kept us in stitches for decades, J. Ray.
I agree. I agree that she's kept us in stitches for decades. I really would love our audience to weigh in. Like, Sir Daniel just made this provocative statement that Kim Wayans is the funniest Wayans. Who do you think is the funniest Wayans siblings? You weigh in and let us know. But Kim is definitely high up there because, and we'll get into this tonight, she is iconic. Like, she will have these many parts that become the cultural touchstone. So we'll get into that in a second. Before, I do want to mention that one of our podcast cousins, They Reminisce Over You, has a great episode on the history of In Living Color. So if you want to go and check that out, definitely go and listen to their episode. You will enjoy it. Also, we discussed on this show, this is maybe 3 years ago now, with about the importance of how In Living Color basically started the modern day Super Bowl halftime show.
What makes Kim Wayans, as I said, the funniest Wayans, is her complete dedication to going balls to the wall for it. There is a reckless abandon that you have to have in order to do comedy, especially when you do what they call she has a very big physical aspect to her comedy, whether it's throwing herself around by like playing LaQuita and arching her body and having a stretchy face and exaggerating her expressions. LaQuita, those things, she does that, and she has there's no boundaries to her. She completely unleashes everything that she has into these caricatures of a lot of people that we've grown to know and love culturally. And I've always believed that everybody that she's ever impersonated on the show, that she had a lot of respect for them and she had a lot of love for them, and which always didn't come across. And we'll talk about that with a specific artist.
Yeah.
But one of the first, when I think about it, one of the first few episodes of In Living Color, where we first see Kim Wayans dive into music parodies. She was teamed up with Takia Crystal Iman, which was her castmate, and the two of them together are just extra funny. Another comic legend, actress legend, sitcom legend, Takia Crystal Iman. Absolutely hilarious women. They deserve all the flowers and the praise for all the stuff that they've done. But J. Ray, do you remember Cook It with Salt-N-Pepa?
I do.
It was her, Takia, and what's my girl? The other Kim that was in Living Single.
Kim Coles,
the other Kim. So the three of them were Salt-N-Pepa and Spinderella. Kim Coles was Spinderella in the back, and she was DJing with two, I think, pots and pans, or maybe like a food processor. And Kim Wayans and Takia were Salt-N-Pepa, and they were like mixing up food in the kitchen, and they were rapping along very well, I might add, to a parody of Push It, but instead of Push It, of course, it was called Cook It.
Yeah.
Cook it. And they were talking about all types of food, dishes, and whatnot at the same time being hilarious. So I think, Jerry, I'm willing to bet that particular sketch probably did very well. And they were like, you know what, Kim, you're a woman, you're a Black woman. Lean into these characters that a lot of these female performers are giving, especially at that time. We're talking about 1990.
Yeah.
So there was like an onslaught of Black women artists that were killing it on the charts. A handful in particular, and they were larger than life.
Yeah.
So of course, for a comedic actor, that's a gold mine right there. That is so much source material to work off of. And so that's why Kim Wayans has so many great parody songs in the In Living Color pantheon.
Yeah. No, I agree with all of that. And I think the other thing about Kim that is unique is it's funny, but it's not bad. Like, it's not bad performance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it is purposefully exaggerated performance. And it's like, oh, okay, she's able to do this because she can kind of bend her voice in these very interesting ways to kind of pull it off. Sir Daniel, I think it's worth talking about a few of these performances that really made an impact. And this one stands out for so many reasons, but the Crystal Waters parody,
Yes.
My Songs Are Mindless, was legendary. So I remember in high school, to this day. So I remember in high school, I can't remember exactly when it aired on, but I remember in school us having these very intense conversations about seeing Kim Waters do this parody. Because to put this in perspective, y'all, Gypsy Woman was such a huge house record. And it's crazy to think about now, but back in the olden days, kids, in the early 1990s, when house music was ascending, everybody needed a house track, and they were hitting the charts, like going gangbusters. And Crystal Waters, of course, came to us with Gypsy Woman, which is a beautifully written song. It's like this true story. She, like, you know, about an experience that she had, you know, seeing this woman, this woman who was experiencing homelessness on the street. But we didn't have the kind of context for that song then that we have today. And it was just an easy song to parody because people with the la-da-dee, la-da-da felt like it was just kind of a throwaway series of lyrics, not really understanding the full meaning behind it. And so My Songs Are Mindless, which Kim Wayans does a lot in all of these parodies, is kind of like exaggerating this idea of taking like real life experiences and like putting them into the lyrics. Like, I'm on the show with Sir Daniel. We are recording the show now. We got to do the show now. That's Kim Wayans.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, taking the hook and replacing la da dee da 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 with ha ha he ha ha ho. I'll be rich, you'll be poor. I am, you know. And you're absolutely right, because Living Color came on Sunday nights, so it was fodder all morning long, Monday morning long, on the ride to school on the school bus, and in first period class. We were talking about, you had to have watched what happened on In Living Color the night before if you wanted to be one of the cool kids involved in the cool conversation about the funny sketches that were aired the night before. And shout out to the production team at In Living Color, because it's not just about her putting on a wig and a suit. Like, they really took the time to do a parody of the video, because the video back then was just like a kind of basic white block, color block video with dancers and some graphics. and tight close-ups of Crystal Waters' face, which made it which at the time was very tech savvy to us, because it was like, oh wow, this video to us kind of just came out, and here you guys are making a parody of it. So which meant that Living Color really had its finger on the pulse of pop culture, period. And to your point earlier about the ascension of house music, Gypsy Woman squarely was a crossover hit. It was not just bubbling on the house charts at that point. That song had crossed over crazy, which made it prime time for primetime television. And another artist that was having a resurgence in the early 90s as well was Vanessa Williams. And you had to remind me of this because I almost forgot about this one.
Yeah, this is a very interesting one, and I feel like this crosses over into a really important piece of being a woman in pop space and being a Black woman and being able to talk about the experiences of Black women. So one of the parodies that Kim Wayans did was a parody of Vanessa Williams' Save the Best for Last, which that song was huge. It changed Vanessa Williams' entire career. Vanessa Williams was having such a big moment between that song. She was in The Equalizer with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't remember what was it called?
Eraser.
The Eraser. She was in The Eraser, and so she was having this like really huge Hollywood moment at that time. Yep. But Kim did a parody of Say the Best for Last, and the song is called Kiss My Ass. Now, why is this important? Because what this song is basically about is the experience of Vanessa Williams as a Black woman who had been stripped of her Miss America title because of this photo shoot that she had done. Despite all of that, and Kim sings this in the parody, I'm now a superstar. Like, you know, because at this point, Vanessa's got hit songs. She's in movies now. That Miss America thing is in the background. Like, she has ascended past that. And Absolutely. She is still to this day our Miss America. Like, do we know any of the other ones? Like, Vanessa Williams is Miss America to us. But Kim basically, Kiss My Ass is basically the FU to white America, in that despite being stripped of this title that y'all said I couldn't have because of this thing, I'm now signing autographs of this thing as a superstar. And it's a great critique of the treatment of women, in particular, the treatment of Black women, in a comedic way.
Absolutely. And so going back to Kim's natural ability to shapeshift and to become the artist, this next artist, she looks so comfortable becoming Tracy Chapman. Tracy Chapman at the time so this is like, and Living Color started in 1990. Tracy Chapman was a bona fide megastar, Grammy winner.
Yep.
Fast Car was like her pinnacle hit, her signature hit song. And so, you know, leave it to Kim to strip down all her makeup, to put on a dreadlock wig and some jeans, and kind of sturdy up her posture.
Yeah.
You know, being respectful, but being respectful, but also showing that, hey, you know, Tracy Chapman is a sturdy woman. She's a
sturdy woman.
She's a sturdy woman. She's a, you know, a woman of masculine energy.
Yes.
And so her doing that and doing a parody of Fast Song, and here's another Kim doing really great work at pinpointing the ridiculousness of sometimes of pop culture, and just picking apart the fact that this song, which was a Grammy winning song, when you listen to it, is about observation.
Yes.
And it's a stream of consciousness song that Tracy originally sings, but the follow up there is another rutabaga. What's the word I'm looking for? Another rutabaga. What Kim is doing is another commentary on the art of songwriting. And she picks apart Tracy Chapman's songwriting, not her abilities, but the fact that Fast Car was such a huge hit that the industry was expecting a follow-up.
We need another one of those.
Which is a commentary on the music industry, which is the music industry is very much cut and paste, copy and paste. We want that again, repackage it so we can have more of that result. And the sketch finds Tracy Chapman in her bedroom apartment out in the city, just looking out the window and literally singing the four chords of Fast Car and literally singing what she's seeing and writing it down. And she's like, oh, this is going to be a hit record. Even to the point of a woman getting assaulted in the alley. She was like, oh, this is going to be a hit. And she wrote that down and sang it too. So once again, Kim Wayans doing more than just slapstick comedy, but actually holding a mirror up to society and the music industry in her sketch comedy.
It's interesting that we just had two back-to-back experiences of talking about kind of the experiences of Black women in music. One of the most famous, unforgettable moments in living color history is Rhythmless Nation.
Because we get a twofer in this one.
We get a twofer in this one, right? So Whitney Houston at this moment in time is really struggling with identity in terms of her public persona, who she is as a Black woman, because Whitney Houston is a sister through and through, but her public persona as a pop princess was causing this very intense division, which has been talked about ad nauseum. If you watch any documentary about Whitney Houston, you watch any movie about Whitney Houston, she has talked about how hurtful it was to experience it. And it's interesting because this is an aside, but even within that, one of the most hurtful nights of her experience, she also meets one of the loves of her life in Bobby Brown. So like, this is all happening at the same time. All at the same time. But Rhythmless Nation happens, and it is a parody of both Whitney Houston as a performer, in particular, a Black woman performer that in Living Color is identifying as rhythmless, and Janet Jackson, of course, in Rhythm Nation. So you get this juxtaposition of these two Black women in pop culture, and but of course the center of it all is Whitney Houston. And I think this was hurtful. Like, Whitney has been on record, like, this was a time when these types of things were jabs taken at her. And it's not the only jab that In Living Color took at her, because they did, got your babies tonight?
I don't want your babies
tonight. I don't want your babies tonight. And this one, funny, because I'll never forget it. Still remember it. I remember it being introduced and Rhythmless Nation. And we didn't know what it was going to be. And of course it was this. So this one is complicated, super funny, but we also know that the harm that it caused behind the scenes now.
Yeah, I often wondered. So Kim Wayans has never responded to Whitney Houston's criticism, which probably was, best, because I'm pretty certain, Kim respected Whitney and Janet for that matter. And I can't imagine that in Hollywood for black entertainers is small. And so I can't imagine that they're not running into each other. They're not running into or running in the same circles, going to the Arsenio Hall show and seeing each other at some point. You're going to run into each other, and I'm sure, some words are going to be exchanged, or who knows what happened. But I think that, as we've said, what we're gleaming from these performances of Kim Wayans and her parodies of these black women specifically, she did them with some care. She did
Yeah.
them with care.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she had to pick them specifically because they were iconic. She would do people like Grace Jones, even though the Grace Jones parody had nothing to do. Well, she did sing a little bit, but it was very over the top um and would magnify the masculinity and the strength of a Grace Jones. But Grace Jones was a powerful figure,
Yeah.
and Kim knew that, and it was like, oh, this is somebody that is people are going to respond to in this sketch. Oprah Winfrey, she's run the gamut of women. Lucille Ball, I think, may have been the only white woman that she impersonated. But
Oh
even
yeah.
that to Kim's genius, the fact that taking the fact that if y'all who are probably not old enough to remember, some of the premise of the Lucille Ball show was that Lucille's husband,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, was in entertainment, was a
Yes.
band director. Lucy probably didn't have any talent, but she wanted so desperately to be in the limelight that she tried every and any trick she could to get Ricky's attention,
Mm-hmm.
or even his industry friends' attention, to get her some type of spotlight or some shine on the show. And Lucy's parody, I Love LaQuita, was like this Compton out, big bangle earrings, wearing long Shanae nails,
Yes.
hood rat, in a one piece leotard suit, and her and Ethel were like had a Salt-N-Pepa routine, and it was just where they were beatboxing and rapping. It was just Kim also tapped into the zeitgeist because female rappers were very huge at that time as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of her parodies were on female rappers and the importance of and the power that female rappers were gaining at that time. So she tapped right on into that as well. So for again, just giving weight to my earlier statement that Kim Wayans is the funniest Wayans of them all.
I feel like, I mean, I think there are so many of all the In Living Color moments, and I could say this with my whole chest 10 toes down. My favorite In Living Color moments all involve Kim Wayans. Like we just
Yep.
mentioned Grace Jones, like the Grace Jones skits, Rhythmless Nation, all of these skits. Was it Cephas and Reese?
Cephas, come
Listen.
on, Cephas and Reese, and Della Reese's Pieces, where she was Della
Yes.
Reese. I mean, the list goes on and
The
on.
list
Little
goes on.
Magic,
Yep. Oh,
Little
Little
Magic.
Magic. So I think that's really critical. And I mean, before we talk a bit about how we came to see her the first time, because I think this is really important, I do want to just note what me and Sir Daniel are talking about is squarely within Black tradition. She's telling a joke, right? But she's offering clever critique indirectly, right? So it's like saying the thing without saying the thing. It's a little ironic, it's a little teasing, it's a lot of storytelling. But what we're trying to do is we're really making deep cultural critiques about what's happening in our culture and in the world overall. And so whether she was trying or not, she was doing this, and she continues to do this thing that is really important to Black culture. The first time we see Kim Wayans, this is her first film, okay? Kim Wayans is in her brother's film. Before we get into her moment, I'm Gonna Get You Sucka is really important.
Yes.
Keenan Ivory Wayans and Robert Townsend are at the foundation of kind of the new Black film renaissance. So this is happening in the mid 1980s. In 1987, we get Hollywood Shuffle, which Keenan Ivory Wayans co-writes with Robert Townsend. It's a Robert Townsend film. That very next year, we get Keenan Ivory Wayans's I'm Going to Get You Sucka. And so this is 1988, and it stars Keenan Ivory Wayans and Bernie Casey. Shout out to Bernie Casey, who is a black movie legend, and it's basically a parody of a
All the blaxploitation
like
films.
all the blaxploitation films kind of rolled up into one. And it's super funny. But there's a moment in the picture where we get introduced to the lounge singer. This person ain't got no name. Like, their name in the credits is lounge singer, but lounge singer is played by Kim Wayans. Sir Daniel, what is this lounge singer doing?
First of all, when you see the opening shot of Bernie and Keenan walking into the bar, making their way to the counter. No, making their way to a table.
Well, they go to the counter first. You were right. They go to the counter first, then they go to the table.
Then they go to a table. You can hear Kim first before you see her. And so when they sit down, they're getting their order, which is funny in of itself because Bernie orders a Jack and Coke, Jack, or just a whiskey or something strong. Whereas Keenan's character is such a is such a choir boy. He orders a double Coke.
A double Pepsi, actually.
A double Pepsi, right. Sorry, Coke. It was a double Pepsi on the rocks. Was it on the rocks?
I think it was on the rocks.
And the waitress is like, oh, big man, double Pepsi. And so while they were talking and getting their order taken, they are interrupted by the caterwauling. And that's the best word that I can call it, is caterwauling of this lounge singer that is doing the absolute most. And the song that she's singing is When the Saints Go Marching In. And they finally cut to the stage where Kim Wayans, a young Kim Wayans, is on stage going she again from the very beginning going for it 100%. Foolishness. She is stretching her face. She is singing drawing out all these notes. At one point, she ends up on the floor,
rolling around
and getting wrapped up in the microphone cord. And I believe she even falls off the stage at one point. And Keenan and Bernie's characters are like, who the hell is that? As far as like, who is that to the waitress? And the waitress is like, oh, that's the director's sister. So we get this breaking of the fourth wall moment, and they both look at Keenan, and then Keenan kind of looks at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, and then we just get this really great comedic moment where Kim Wayans doesn't even really have lines.
No,
but she stole that scene.
She stole that whole scene. She's in the whole scene.
That is her scene, and that's the only time she shows up in this movie, and you remember it to this day. If you have not seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, if it's on streaming, you really must take the time out to watch the entire movie, because a lot of the people that were in the movie are no longer with us, and it's just great satire, parody filmmaking that is just truly comedic, a little over the top, but just good, wholesome fun, great jokes. And but I know we're about to wrap up, but I can't, Jerry,
talk about it.
This lounge scene without giving flowers to another amazing comedic actress who absolutely is a scene sealer in these next sequences, and that is Anne-Marie Johnson.
Baby, that woman right there does her big one.
She is comedic gold. If you grew up and you went and you spent a lot of time at your Mima's house, your nana's house, your grandma's house, and you watched television with grandma, that you were watching In the Heat of the Night. She was in The Heat of the Night.
She was Virgil's wife.
Virgil's wife. She was in What's Happening Now.
Yep. Roger's wife.
Roger's wife. She was always playing somebody's wife. And she was a scene sealer in Living Single, where she got her wig caught in the door. Iconic.
Oh, that was a moment. Iconic scene.
So what I'm saying is Anne-Marie Johnson she's comedic gold. She's a mainstay in Robert Townsend's canon of HBO specials. Anne-Marie Johnson, of course, if you're a fan of this movie, you know that she is the voluptuous sex siren wearing the very hot red leather outfit. She sticks out like a sore thumb in the night lounge
with the hair.
With the big voluminous hair, very tight, juicy, got you crazy suit. And so she and Keenan Wayans have a very, very iconic, very legendary scene about, about 12 inches of something.
Things.
And you just have to go and see it for yourself. But I just want to take that moment. Thank you, J. Ray, for allowing me to take this moment to give Anne-Marie Johnson her things, because she's so hilarious to me. She's just, between her and Kim Wayans, they stole that movie.
I'm glad we had this conversation. I think this is really important that Black music is within every piece of our culture, right? There's really nothing that Black folks touch that doesn't in some way involve music. It is one of the things that has empowered the civil rights movement. It's part of our way of communicating with one another, right? So Kim Wayans is that girl. You know what I'm saying? And, she definitely told some important stories in what she was doing. But, and she made us laugh. And I think that's really, really important. So glad we spent some time honoring our sister.
Absolutely. That's the most important part. So Kim Wayans, we thank you. Kim Wayans has her own web series now. So go check that out. So if anything, go check out why Kim Wayans is the comedy GOAT and the GOAT of the Wayans family, in my opinion.
Listen, listen, let us know, y'all. So first of all, couple calls to action. Let us know what y'all think. Who do you think is the funniest Wayans? So Daniel says it's Kim. Who do you got? We also have a playlist of Kim Wayans parodies that you could check out on YouTube. So definitely do that. But thank you all for hanging out with us. If you can see our faces and hear our voices, go ahead and subscribe wherever you are. Visit our website at qpoints.com. You could do a ton of stuff over there. Watch the archive of Q Points episodes, become a member, check out our blog, and hang out with us. We have a ton of stuff that we do outside of this particular show, and you can get access to all of that on our website. Visit our store at store.qpoints.com, and just keep hanging out with us. We appreciate y'all and we love y'all.
We certainly do. And like I say at Rutabaga, we certainly do. And like I say at the end of every show, in this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, y'all.
And this is Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. And I ain't want to gossip, but you ain't heard that from me.
You ain't heard that from me. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.